All right, hello, Metal Maniacs. It's the Meista from Brews and Tunes. Cheers. I am beyond excited. I am chatting with the one and only Genevieve Rodda of course, Temtris, fantastic Australian metal band. Genevieve, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy schedule to interview me. It's very
Yeah.
special to talk to you. It's
Yeah,
great.
and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I'm it's more than ecstatic to chat with you. I've been wanting to chat with you for a long time, so this is great. Well, I think we need to jump right into what I just showed, which is the brand new album, Queen of Crows, that was released August 8th, I believe, if I got that
Yes.
correct. Um,
Eighth album on the
no,
eighth
nice.
month.
Eighth on the 8th. Very cool. And
Eighth on
what
the eighth.
a fantastic album this is, man. Just I mean, it just kicks ass from the opening notes all the way to the end. I mean, it's one of those albums that like you put it on and it immediately just grabs hold of you and slams you against the wall and says, "You're going to listen to this." So,
That's
sorry,
so great to hear.
yeah, sorry, that was not a question. I apologize. That wasn't, I did not ask a question. But I mean, but I just wanted to say I adore this. This is fantastic. I mean, I love all your music, but I mean, you guys just really, and as I was telling you, I just got the album. I mean, literally yesterday. I just got it in the mail. And so I've only had a chance to listen to it all the way through once, but you've released a couple singles, so I've heard those. And yeah, I
Yep.
mean, just what a powerhouse album this is. I mean, it's just, I mean, you guys really hit it out of the park, I think. And like I said, I love all your albums, but I think this just, ooh, I mean, just really powerful, intense guitar work, like what you guys are known for. Your powerful
Mm.
vocals, huge vocals, killer riffs, Anthony's amazing writing. Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's really phenomenal. So
It's
congratulations.
been, yeah, thank you. It's been, we've had amazing reviews come in that have just been saying the same thing you have, where it's just been nothing but praise about it being a great album from start to finish. And that's all we want to do, is give our best to our fans, and we will spend a lot of time rewriting to make sure those riffs are catchy, those choruses grab you in, that we've given our best we can with those, guitar harmonies and those big vocal, screams to just get everyone's attention. And yeah, it's just so great to get that love back, from yourself and other reviewers, because it makes it all worthwhile. Because there's nothing worse than you go to release an album and you're thinking, other fans going to love it, or are they going to go, nah?
Yeah.
It's always a bit nerve wracking, because being your eighth album, you want to get better and better, but it does get harder and harder with the more albums you release to reach those goals, basically. So yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, yeah, it's probably, and I'm not a musician, so, but I do paint, so I understand like in terms of art, just the trying to do something different, but at the same time staying in your style, because you
Yeah.
don't want to alienate your fans. But
Yes.
I would imagine that can be really tricky in trying to like, okay, what's the direction we want to go with this? How do we want to present this? I can see that where it's, yeah, that kind of challenge, and especially when you've been around for a little while. Because I mean, you guys are 25 years now, right?
Yeah. It's crazy to think we've been going that long, and it's not easy here in Australia to get heard. It's definitely made a
Mm.
difference having things like Facebook and Instagram to reach out to fans, but it's not really till you're on the ground and get off your butt and tour overseas
Mm.
that you really can get the notice that you need. And that's difficult in Australia because we are so far from everybody.
Mm.
That main metal core group in Europe, especially.
Yeah.
That's really where you need to be and have your music to get it out there to the masses. And breaking through to that, takes a lot of work. And I think I often wonder, if we'd had to move to Europe earlier in our career, where would we be a bigger band, because we would be playing to, I mean, Australia doesn't have a huge metal scene compared to overseas, and I wonder if
Mm.
things would have been different.
Yeah, maybe
But
I was about to ask you like what the metal scene's like there
mm.
in Australia, because I really don't have a sense of what it is, to be honest.
Yeah, look, it's definitely changed over the years. It's got very expensive to go out here in Australia. Of course, everything's so far apart, so
Mm.
transport's an issue. It's not like you can just jump on a train and go to a pub or a club.
Right. Yeah.
And there's not, over COVID, a lot closed down as well. The government's made it very expensive for venues to run due to insurances, so the venues are struggling. And also, we have a tax here on our alcohol, which is like, you could imagine, is insane, because you know, people like to go out and have a few drinks and watch music, and they've made it so expensive now. If you go out, even a beer is $10 here, 10 Aussie dollars in Australia. So
Wow.
it's not cheap to go out anymore. So it's hard to get those people through the door now, with the cost of just living in general as well. So, I mean, you have a big festival here. Everyone comes out, of course, Not Fest, download. You still get the 40,000 metal fans, but
Cool.
when it comes to local shows, it is definitely a lot harder to pull those numbers. People aren't going out as much as they used to because they just can't afford it, sadly.
Yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder what, I mean, that's unfortunate, but yeah, I do wonder, yeah, I'm curious too, like what would have been if you guys had moved to Europe? Like what would that have looked like? Yeah, especially because uh you have kind of a European sound. You have, I mean, but you have a lot of nuance to your music, you know, and I don't want to pigeonhole you in any way, but I mean, there definitely is some of that new wave of British heavy metal influence, you know, some of that traditional metal influence, you know, like the Priest and Iron Maiden bands.
Oh, yeah.
But then there's a
Sure.
lot of other things going on, like a little bit of thrash, even a little doominess in there. So yeah, it's that's one thing that why I really fall in love with your music, I think, is because of the complexity of it. And I mean, one, two, just your huge, emotive, powerful vocals, which I mean, just kind of floor you. The first time I heard you several years ago, I'll be honest, I don't even remember how I found your band. I don't remember. I mean, it must have been the internet, probably Facebook, and it was probably a suggestion because of something I had listened to. So, I mean, like you said, I think I'm grateful for, you know, social media in that sense. Because, you know, if it was the 80s, I probably never would have heard you.
Yeah, that's right. It's
You know?
exactly right. And that's what it is. That's where you've got, Facebook definitely has made a difference to a lot of bands, but it also has made, the social media side of things has made things harder because there is this flood of bands as well. And one of our songs on the new album is actually called Nobody Is Listening. And that is about releasing new music and trying to be heard amongst all this flood of content that's coming out. And, you know, your Facebook feed, you're getting so much advertising and bullshit in there now. You're lucky if you see your friends bloody post. So it's, yeah, that track is actually about that, trying to be heard amongst that wash of crap that's being fed into the feed and into your socials these days, and wanting, as a band, releasing good stuff and trying to get to be heard. And that's what that track's actually about.
Nice, very cool. I wondered if that was, like I said, I've only had a chance to really listen to it once. I've kind of skimmed through it a little bit, but I'm one of these old school freaks where even though it's all available online, I'm an album guy. I like to sit down and listen to an album. So I mean, apart from the videos, I'm like, I'm going to wait until I get the CD so I can just sit and listen to it. And which I have, you know, in fact, I think after this interview, I will probably listen to it again because I love it.
Excellent. Well, you know what the songs are about when you listen to it next time, so it'll probably be more interesting when you read the lyrics.
Yeah, very cool. It's great. Yeah, it just nails it. So speaking of touring and shows, I mean, obviously, you know, new album, you're obviously promoting it. Are you, and I know you've done a few shows, I've seen some posts. I know you recently toured Australia with Burning Witches. You were supporting Burning Witches. How was that?
Yeah. Well, we actually had a major medical incident on that tour. We only played the one show in Sydney with Burning Witches. No. It was really, really, really a horrible event. Actually, my drummer had a heart attack on stage at that first show.
Oh, wow.
Nicholas played the whole set through the Sydney show because that was the first show of the tour. And he actually collapsed when he got off stage.
Holy shit.
And had to go to hospital and have a major operation. They said if he went to sleep that night, he would have died. He actually had a cardiac arrest on stage and kept playing the show. Being the metalhead he is, he was going to finish the show.
Yeah, that's dedication.
His wife even said as they were wheeling him off to get his operation, he was like upset going, I have to cancel the tour. I'm so, like, yeah, he was devastated. So for me, it was pretty hard to cancel that too, because I had actually met Laura at Metal Babes Festival in Belgium and played a show with her there.
Oh, cool.
And I talked to her about getting her to Australia and finding a promoter. So I hit up Hardline Media here in Australia, and they were very keen. And of course I said, but if you get them here, I want to be on the tour, because Laura and I have chatted about it. And they're like, yeah, of course. So it was sort of my baby. And then we only got to do the one show with them because of Nick having the heart attack. And then we had planned to do our album release around Australia. And then we had a tour booked in Europe and in the UK. And we had to cancel that because we've played the Australian shows, but he was not allowed on a long haul flight due to his operation. So we've had to reschedule that for next year. So we're in the process of rebooking that.
Wow.
So yeah, it was
that is harrowing.
Not something we were expecting at all.
No, how's he doing now?
He is good. We literally started our Australian album launch tour the first week of August. And we had only had 3 rehearsals with Nicholas to get ready for that tour because he could not drum for so long because he had full-blown surgery. So we didn't even know if he was going to be ready for the Australian shows, and we were just planning ahead and hoping it would go ahead. And could imagine the stress for a band for that when, you've made merch, got CDs, booked shows, and you're waiting to see if you're going to have to cancel them or be able to go ahead with it. So it was pretty hard. Even that night of Burning Witches in Sydney, we're all at the merch table with, after the Burning Witches show, all being all, yay, it's going to be exciting going on tour. But deep down inside, we knew Nick was at the hospital and we were probably going to have to cancel. So yeah, it was tough few months to get through, but we've done it and he's back. So
good. Yeah, that's heartbreaking. That's too bad, especially when, it'd be tough for any tour, but the fact that, you had that connection with Laura and it was already ready to go. I'm sorry. That's
we're like, 2 Dutch girls, because my mum being Dutch and her being Dutch, are like 2 little Dutch girls are going to go on tour around Australia.
Yeah. Oh, that's too bad. Oh, she's great. She's amazing. Yeah. Laura was actually, not to make this about me, but Laura was my very first video interview. I'd interviewed a lot of people before but like written and just audio, but she was my very first Zoom interview during the pandemic. And she was it was fantastic. Fun to talk to. Well, I'm glad things are on the up and up, so that's good. So next year you'll be in Europe and the UK.
I'm currently looking at booking. I've got one date booked already in Europe, but I can't announce that until the organizer announces it. So I have one date in Europe, and then I will be booking around. I'll get back and book all England and our other areas around Europe that we can play. Once I have that announced, I'll hopefully let the fans know, and it'll be in the sort of first half of the year, and it'll be good to get back to everyone because everyone was so excited for us to bring this new album over.
Yeah.
We were meant to be going there in September, and it was heartbreaking to reach out to all those events and promoters and say, sorry, we can't come now. Nick's not allowed to fly.
Yeah.
But we'll be back. So
good. That's great news. I need to get to Europe so I can see this in 2026. That's really cool. That's good. So as far as the shows go, I know it's in the works right now. Will you be a headliner, or will you be doing any supporting for shows or any
at the moment I'll organize our own headline shows, our own album launch shows across UK and some in Europe. The one I've booked in Europe is actually on a festival, so I'm waiting for that to be announced. So
very cool.
So it's always good to get one festival and book around it. So that's my plan. So I've just got to get that going. We've got one more show here to do in Australia, in Melbourne, for our album launch show. That's next weekend. We'll play that, and then I'll get on to sorting out Europe and England. So all the all the venues are basically sitting there waiting for me to get back to them with a date. So I've just got to sit down with my crew and make sure they're all ready to go and happy for me to go ahead and book them in, get them all organised.
Very good. Very good. Oh, that's good news. That's really cool. I'm glad that
Mm.
even though there were some dark times there, like, yeah, there's a light at the end and you guys are on your way.
Yeah.
So that's good news. That's cool. That's cool. So I apologize. I don't have a really good sense of space or distance in Australia, to be honest.
Yeah.
So Melbourne, and that's not a short drive from Sydney, right? Or from where you guys are
No,
based
we're
out.
actually flying. We're flying to
Oh,
that
okay.
show because it is a 10-hour, pretty much a 10-hour drive.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it's not something you just want to jump in the car in the morning and go play the show in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a bit tricky. And even for us here for myself down here on the South Coast, I've got to get to Sydney, which is a 2-hour drive. Then I've got to get to get to the airport. So, and then it's an hour and a half flight
Wow.
to Melbourne, which isn't so bad. So it's only, a couple of hours in the airport sitting around, which is probably 5 hours in total by the time I drive up there and fly there. It definitely beats sitting in a car for 8 to 10 hours. So
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, that's the thing with the States in the US, and I think it shocks a lot of especially European bands the first time they come here is the distance
yeah,
between,
yeah,
especially when you get to the West. I live in the West, and I mean, from Denver to Salt Lake is 8 hours, and then from
okay,
Salt Lake to Phoenix or to Vegas, you're looking at another 6, 8 hours. Or if you're going
yeah,
to Seattle, that's 12, 14 hours.
wow,
It's a
okay,
big
yeah,
spread. Yeah, it's a big
yeah,
spread.
yeah.
Mm.
So it's very similar to Australia in that sense of travelling from state to state and capitals.
Right.
We played Newcastle the other week, and that was even 5-hour trip for us just to get to Newcastle to play one show, and
Wow.
did Newcastle, and then we had to get to Canberra the next night. So it was 5 hours to Newcastle and then back into the state to ACT, which is another from Newcastle. It's probably another 5 hours as well. So it's a big thing to play in Australia. People go, well, you don't play many shows in Australia. It's like because it costs a fortune, either
Yeah.
driving or flying. It actually costs us if we want to play Perth. The flights there to Perth are nearly equivalent to us flying to New Zealand. So
Wow.
it's just, it's crazy.
Yeah, because Perth's on the other side of the continent. So yeah,
Yeah, it is.
I
Yeah,
mean
yeah,
it's probably what at least a 5 hour flight, 6 hour flight.
yeah. It's 5 or 6 hours, 5 hour flight. You definitely wouldn't want to drive that. That's for sure.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. That'd be a long, long trek through the outback. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Um So let's circle back to the album again because it's so
Yeah.
wonderful. Um, I have lots of questions, but like one, just before I forget, because I have a terrible memory. I did want to ask you about the artwork because I know
Mm,
you and Anthony were involved with the design, right? Because I like,
yep.
oh, it's so cool and it's so compelling. It's probably
Yeah.
hard to
Look.
see here, but yeah, kind of this warrior crow queen. And I love the art. Yeah, and I've always liked all of your artwork, but this one I think is just, ooh, that is some like. So tell me the concept behind that and kind of how that came to be.
Yeah. Look, the whole album originally was every time Anthony and I write albums, I always put a concept on the table or a theme.
Hmm.
So that's always been the way we construct an album because for us, it's about the whole package. It's about the artwork, the photos, the film clip. We want it to tell a complete story in a sense. That probably comes from our huge love of Iron Maiden, who does a similar thing with their album. So,
Nice.
yeah. So for this album was actually, I wanted to write about consequences in life and choices in decisions we make and people make around us and how they affect us personally and in our lives. So the album was originally going to be called Consequences,
Oh.
but Killswitch Engage beat the release
Oh.
with their own album, which was something, The Consequence or something. It was very similar. And I went, oh, shit, there goes my album name. A band
Yeah.
bigger than me had basically used the same name I wanted. So we had to dig around and find another idea. And when we were looking for things relating to consequences, we looked up gods and goddesses. And there were a few goddesses that were related to choices and consequences in life and fate and things like that. So we decided that we would basically come up with our own goddess of consequence, and Queen of Crows became this thing. So we started mucking around with artistic ideas, and Temtris has previously used an artist called Daryl Firth, who has drawn a few albums for us, and I love using real artists, but sadly this time Daryl is not drawing anymore. So I was like, had to come up with a AI concept, and that's pretty much what we've come up with. So of course we had the bass, the girl and the crow concept together, and then Anthony and I sit down with our art program downstairs and build the rest of it through our own imaging and things. So yeah, so I would love to have someone that could sit there and draw for me, but not that easy to find anymore. I guess it's the way of the world, sadly. I would much love to pay someone to draw, but this time we had to do it ourselves with this concept with the AI, and that's how she came about. And Queen of Crows is, everyone's like you are loving the artwork and loving the look of it. And when I first made the girl, I'm like, yeah, that looks sick. And we always wanted to have a purple album, and our drummer was keen for us to have a purple album. So
nice. Well, that's cool. It makes more sense to me now. Like again, and I apologize for my naivety, for my ignorance, having just gotten the album. Like quickly looking through it, the artwork inside with the tarot cards, that makes so much more sense. The consequence, like, okay, I get it now. That's cool. That's really cool.
Bit of karma and fate and things in life, how they all come together. It's all in that album basically, and that's the tarot cards and that whole, I wouldn't say I'm hugely into star signs or tarot cards, but I do like listening to them and having playing around with that stuff and having my daughter's got tarot cards, and she likes going, oh, let's see where the band's going to go this year, and she'll get them out and do a reading and have a laugh. So nice. I think it's fun to have a play around with that stuff. Not that it's something I'm serious about, but it is. Some people are really deep into it, aren't they? It's just
right. Yeah, but I think as far as like entertainment, that's a fun. Yeah, it's entertaining. That's cool. I like that. And so you've released one video and then one lyric. So two videos, one video, one lyric video. So the first video was the very last song on the album, "The World Is Bleeding." And what a cool killer video that is. I love it. Yeah. It looks like from the pictures I've seen, that might have been kind of a crazy day. It looks like there's some heavy winds going on in some of the photos and even some of the video. So where was that filmed?
It was actually filmed, that was in Newcastle at Stockton Sand Dunes.
Okay.
I must admit, when we first started putting this album together, I'm a huge fan of the Dune movies, and I watched the Dune movies, and I loved the cinematography, the way they feel. It comes across so big and so dramatic, and I love the sound in the movie. And I said to Fox that it'd be really cool to do that sort of theme in amongst an album as well. So the part of that album cover is that thought in my head. Cool. It's hard to put stuff on where you watch stuff and you go, I really want to bring that to life in an album. So when we did The World Is Bleeding Out and had the opportunity to film that clip there to match the album cover, it was just perfect. And we pulled up at this place and it was blowing a gale and it was hot. We all got sunburnt. We all got sandblasted, burnt. Wow. We had sand in everything. It was hilarious. Even when we did our album launch show a few weeks ago, I put my boots on that I'd wore in the film clip and I had to take them off again because I found there was more sand in there still. That's great. Fox had sand in his guitars. He had to pull them apart and clean them. Oh, my God. So it was nuts, but it looks amazing. And the response to that clip, it just went crazy.
Nice.
straight away. It was so good for us to get, the response it did. I mean, we had the typical trolls on there going, "Oh, your singer's not very powerful," and the usual stuff like that. Where I
What?
just go, "Yeah,
That's
whatever." And
absurd.
the
That's absurd.
choruses aren't very big. You could try, writing it a bit more technical and stuff like that. When you just go, "Whatever, mate. We're not writing it for you. We write it for us. We write what we,
Yeah.
enjoy playing and singing." So,
Yeah. Piss off, trolls. Like, you don't know what
yeah,
you're talking about.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I thought it was an incredibly powerful video. I mean, I just visually, I mean, it's really compelling. And yeah, like that, yeah, the sand and it's, yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was,
Yeah, yeah,
really incredible. Yeah, powerful. Yeah. I mean, and I think it speaks volumes, and I think it's very Temptress. It has a very Temptress feel and look to it,
yeah,
which is cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought
yeah.
that was great. Nice, very cool. Yeah, now it's great talking to you and learning about the consequences idea, because now it's like, oh, like you said, yeah, I'm gonna go back and listen to this with different ears. So,
Mm,
yeah, I'm excited to hear that. So that's cool. That's
awesome.
really interesting. Um, if you don't mind, I'd like to switch gears a little bit and kind of take a ride in the Wayback Machine.
Sure.
And how did Temperance start up? How did this come to pass? How did the band become a band?
Yeah, look, Anthony Fox and I have always played together, even through high school. We had a school band going. We were
Oh,
doing
wow.
covers, Ozzy Osbourne, Skid Row, all that sort of
Hmm.
stuff. So he needed a singer. I joined his band. I was 14.
Wow.
I could play a little bit of guitar back then. I was writing my own stuff. It was pretty cheesy and teenager-ish, but that's what you do when you're 14. And they
Yeah.
needed a singer. So I put the guitar down and took up singing. That went for a little while. We had a band that was called Labyrinth back then, and then of
Okay.
course we discovered there was another band called Labyrinth going around. So when we closed that band down, we had to come up with a new name. And Temtris was born due to the fact that we had members that wanted to create a female-fronted metal band. We had the deaf backing vocals back then, which wasn't a huge thing when we first started, but it was just coming out into the scene. There were not, even still, there's not a lot of females in metal in Australia, but back then it was very rare for a female to be doing metal. And the name Temtris came about through an angel, actually called an evil angel that was a temptress, the tempter, so Temptress. We
Oh,
took
okay.
the P out because when we did the logo, when the guy drew the logo, the P made it uneven. So he's like, right, it's going to be Temptress.
Oh,
He
okay.
ripped the P out to make the logo work. So that's how it sort of became what it was in the end. And yeah, we had way back then, we had our first drummer was actually Wayne Campbell from Mortal Sin.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
drumming for us. And where we started, we pressed our first CD called Threshold ourselves. We only pressed 100 copies, so there's not many of that around.
Hmm.
And started playing, and we sort of evolved from there. And even back then, we just used whatever sound we needed to write. We never locked ourselves into anything. We've always been about using whatever genre is required to get our story across
Yeah.
for our songs. So yeah, but our sound has changed over the years, but it is still Temperance. It's you can
Right.
hear the twin. We've always had the twin guitars and the catchy riffs and the big choruses. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's been going ever since. It's just Anthony Fox's and my baby basically, and I
Right.
guess you wonder if us two weren't together, would it have continued through all the turmoil that it has? Because Temperance has been through a lot of changes and a lot of people have come and gone, but we've always tried to build this band and make it bigger and bigger. And that puts pressures on people who, decide when they've got life and they have kids and it's just too much for them. But for us, we love doing it and we give everything into our music because it is who we are and we love doing it so much. So, but
Yeah.
it's not for everybody. The road and the touring and the costs, it's
Yeah.
not for everybody.
It's a grind, I'm sure. Like, yeah, especially the
Yeah,
touring, that can be, especially as you get older,
yeah,
it's like, whew, I can't imagine.
yeah,
Sure, it's,
yeah.
yeah, that can be a grind. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, yeah, you and Anthony Fox are, of course, the constant. And Vane is the newest member, right? He joined. 2 years ago, I think.
We've got Varney's actually been a fan of ours. He's our bass player, Varney. He was
Oh,
a fan
Varney,
of ours
sorry.
for
I called him
years.
Bane. I'm
Varney, yeah,
sorry. Yeah.
yeah, Varney. So yeah, it's Varney. He's actually a Vangel is his correct,
Oh, interesting.
but he's Varney for short. Yeah, he's been a fan of Temtris since the beginning, and he joined
Oh,
Temtris to play bass. Then we've had Nardi, who was our guitarist that joined us and toured with us and has been on a few albums. He's an amazing wizard on guitar and a bit of a he can play like a machine. He actually stepped away after our last European tour to have a break. He's actually originally from Iran, and he stepped away when all the war kicked off over there to go back and help his parents get out of Iran and
oh, good.
get them out of all the city and get away from. He was very stressed about, of course, having his family over there with everything that was going on in the country. And we had Donovan join us for the Queen of Crows album when Nardi left, and Donovan is on the World is Bleeding Out film clip. He's the one in the Dio shirt with the masses of long hair that's actually longer than mine.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, cool.
But when Nicholas had his heart attack, Donovan didn't think we'd be continuing with the band for a long time, and he's got another band called Plague Dweller, so he stepped away as he thought we were just going to pretty much shut down for a while and not be able to get back up and playing. But to his surprise, Nick got back up off the ground, and so Nardi jumped back in to help
good.
us. So we've had this revolving door of musicians, which has pretty much been Temtris from the. We've really struggled to keep people on with the band, moving with each album. Nicholas has probably been our longest member now. He's been with us 6 years.
Okay.
But it's just the fact that we keep pushing and wanting more and more. And I guess it's not, like I said, it's not for everybody, and not everyone has the money or the ability to keep doing that. So, yeah, that's part of the reason we've had such member changes, because we are driven to achieve this goal that not everyone can do in their lives. So, yeah, it makes things difficult keeping musicians.
Yeah, that makes, I mean, yeah, it's like you said, I mean, because, you know, you look at the 8 albums that you've done, and yeah, like looking at the members from each album, yeah, it shifts almost album to album to some degree.
Yeah.
Which is
we
fine.
have a joke about will there be the same members on, Fox always says, on this many albums, and I think we had 2 albums. We were hoping to get everyone on for the 3rd album, but then Nardi had to leave to go back to Iran to help move his parents out of the city and stepped away. So then, yeah, that sort of broke that, getting the 3 albums with the same members. And it is what it is. I think there are so many bands out there now that are continuing with solo musicians just to keep going, because it is costly, and it's just the money's not there like it used to be in the industry. So it is harder to keep bands functioning and make it worthwhile for people. So
yeah, it's really too bad too. When you look at the talent, you know, like specifically your band, you look at that kind of talent, and, you know, like I was saying before, if your band had existed in the 80s, you would have been huge. I mean, it would have been gigantic. And there's so many, like, there's a bunch of other, like, European bands like you hear now, and yeah, they're playing clubs, and it's like, God, this band is amazing. They should be headlining a stadium, you know, like I'm an old guy, so it's like, you know, I have this, you know, this romanticism and this ideology of, if, you know, those big 80s arena shows that I used to go to as you know, and, you know, I still go to some, but I've learned I do like the club shows, and I think that's why I've fallen in love with so many club bands now that, you know, tour smaller clubs, and there's so much talent and so much happening. But yeah, like you said, the money isn't, it sucks because there's no money in that really, as far as, you know, you've got to be passionate, you've got to really love it. And so.
And I love playing, like, we've done lots of support shows with big bands, and they're great fun playing with the big bands and stuff, but there's something about going and playing, you know, Club Hell in Belgium, and you're playing to 100 people. That's, you know, and you sit down after and have drinks with your friends, fans, family. They become family, and that's I love that as well. So there's no loss either way. It all works in my. I'll do either way. I love it. It's just I would happily be on the road forever if I could and just meet people and play shows.
Nice. Very cool. That's a great attitude. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Are there any as far as support, being a support band, are there any like favorite tours or favorite bands that you played with?
Oh, look, Metal Church, great
Oh, cool.
guys. Mark and Stet Howland. Stet's always been an absolute sweetheart to us. He actually asked us to jump back on their next, like their last Metal Church tour. He messaged me, trying to think, I was actually in Germany, and he said, "Oh, we're coming back to Australia. I want you guys to support us again because you were so good to us." And
Nice.
yeah, it's just getting that sort of message from people like Stet. You just go, that's what's really awesome. I played with, we did an acoustic show with Michael Sweet from
Oh, nice.
Striper.
Oh,
He
cool.
was really cool. Sat down with Fox, had the same guitar, and they talked guitars, and
Nice.
chatted with him and his wife, and really, really, really lovely. There have been other people I've played with who I've just felt like I've been totally snobbed by them, but I understand they're on a schedule and they're in their own head trying to get ready to get on stage, and it can be under the pump sometimes. You don't have
Yeah.
time to just sit and chitty chat. So
Yeah.
I think that was nice about when I met Laura. We had time to sit and talk when we were in Belgium, and then when she came over to Sydney, Australia, I sat with her that night of the show and we had a chat, which was nice. So you don't
Cool.
often get the time to do that with people. But yeah, Metal Church, I'll have to say, has been probably one of my favorite acts to work with, and would work with those
Cool.
guys anytime. So
Yeah,
yeah,
what a
they're
great
cool
band.
blokes.
Yeah, what a great band. Yeah, they're incredible. Um, so I do this. I circle back a lot because I think of something that I was thinking when you said that you and Fox started this when you were 14 years old. Um, so as far as singing, were you trained? Did you come from a musical family? Kind of how did this start for you? When did you start singing?
Look, I went to high school. I picked up guitar just from high school, picking up acoustic guitar. Started teaching myself how to play that in my bedroom, had a couple of easy guitar lessons, then started realizing, okay, I'll start writing my own songs for fun. Realized I could sing. And then it was like, okay, I'll go and get some singing lessons.
Hmm.
My uncle at the time was actually in the band he was living with Fox. So that
Oh, wow.
sounds funny calling my uncle, but he was young uncle. And he was like, oh, they need a singer. So that's when I jumped into Fox's band because I was singing. And I was, of course, into one of my first big singers I really was into was people like Pat Benatar. She had that big
Oh,
voice. It
yeah.
was almost rock metal style. And I really loved her singing style. And then of course I heard people like Bruce Dickinson. I loved Guns N' Roses. I loved Skid Row, all that
Cool.
big power voice stuff. So
Yeah.
once I got down that road, and then I really started getting into Iron Maiden, I was like, yeah, this is where my voice sits comfortably. And my singing teacher actually wanted me to go and do some opera training because I had the big power voice, but
Wow.
I wanted to do metal.
Good. Good. That's good.
So here I am doing singing heavy metal instead of oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny because sometimes people try and link me to symphonic vocals, but it's not really what I do. Even though I get called a symphonic singer, it's not really symphonic style. It's more that power.
Yeah.
Bruce Dickinson, Jeff Tate, they're all my sort of influences that side. I'm not a huge Nightwish fan. I'm not a huge Epica fan. Not that they don't have great voices, but that's not how I deliver my singing. And yeah, I mean, Doro Pesh was my main female vocalist that, Warlock albums. I've got them sitting in my cupboard there, lots of them. So yeah, she's
nice.
Hope to meet her one day and chat with Doro.
Oh yeah, she's amazing. She's incredible. Yeah,
yeah,
I would love to interview her as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it because that was actually my next question. So I'm glad you answered it. I was going to ask like who were the big influences in terms of vocals. I had a feeling that Bruce Dickinson he had to have been in there. So because you have that same kind of power, and that same kind of passion and aggression. Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I mentioned early in the interview. I think the two things that really attracted me to Temptress was your vocals and the riffs and those killer riffs and dual guitar work. I'm a
Yeah,
sucker
the
for
riff,
dual guitar work. So,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, like for us, this other side, I'm a huge Megadeth fan, and
oh,
so's
great.
Fox. And riffs are what hook people in. You've got to have a riff in a song that's catchy, that sticks in your head. You've got to have a riff. And then if you've got those twin guitar harmonies and stuff as well, well, then between a good riff, that, and a catchy chorus, you can't go wrong, can you? And you want people to walk away with that song stuck in their head. And I know some people, you've got your hardcore metal fans that say, that's like a bit commercial in that sense. But if a song doesn't stick in your head, like there's so much music out there now that I listen to and I go, the whole album sounds the same.
Yeah.
And I can't, like, I forget the song once I go away because it doesn't have that riff. You want to have that riff, that hook line. It's
Yeah.
really important in songwriting.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's, and I shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna I try not to be negative or badmouth bands ever, but one frustration for me was I was as a teenager, I was a massive Metallica fan, like when they were a
Yep.
thrash metal band.
Yep.
And now I listen to them and I think they're making good music, but for me, it's not memorable. Like their
No,
last album, their last two, three albums, I can't name a song.
no.
I can't hum a melody. It's just gone. Like I'll listen to
Yeah.
it and go, oh, this is kind of cool. And then as soon as turn it off, I'm like, I don't remember any of that music.
Yeah.
Whereas like
Yeah.
Temptress, it's like, oh yeah, like I can, yeah, like, I'm
Yeah.
like I'm driving in my car or work, I'm at work, and like there's a melody in my head like, oh yeah, that song is like when I get home I gotta
Yeah.
throw that album on. That's cool stuff. So
Yeah.
it's, yeah, like
Yeah.
you said, yeah, that
I
memorable.
understand. Yeah. And it's very true. I mean, I've got Metallica's albums down there too, but the last lot of albums, I never play them. I never put them on. But then you look at bands like, like I said, Metal Church, that are still pushing out amazing stuff. And another band, Flotsam and Jetsam. I love that
Oh
band. Eric
yeah.
AK. We're huge Flotsam fans. Yeah, huge Flotsam. I love their stuff. I love his albums that he writes. Just melodic and heavy.
Yeah.
And they call themselves a thrash band, but I think they're very melodic as well in what they do. Also Annihilator. Love that band.
Oh yeah.
I love the early Annihilator stuff.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
love my European stuff like Primal Fear and, Halloween, that big vocal stuff as well. So the
Genius.
list goes on, doesn't it?
Yeah, it goes. Yeah, I could. Well, I love Flotsam and Jetsam. I was just talking about them with somebody, and I think, and maybe this is heresy, I think I think their last two albums are the best albums they've
Yep.
ever done. Like, and I
Yep.
love early Flotsam. I love it. But those last two albums actually, I'd say the last three albums are just stellar. I mean, they just
Yep.
get better and better and better. I think with, they just age so well. They're like a fine wine or something. But
Yep.
like they
Yep.
just. Whereas there's a lot of, yeah, like I said, there's just so much music out there. It's mind blowing, and
No, it is. You can't keep up, can you, sometimes?
no, yeah, that's where I feel like I'm really old, especially talking to my kids and they name bands. I'm like, I've never heard of any of these bands, and then they're playing like a giant stadium. Like, who? Like, I
Yeah,
don't even know who
exactly. I know.
this is. Yeah, like, I'll
I
be
hear
an
you.
old man show. So yeah,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, it's funny how yeah, I mean, but it's also good, I think, and I love like we were talking earlier. I love the fact that the world's become a little smaller in terms of finding music. It's because as a kid, like it was unfathomable to even be able to hear bands from Australia or New Zealand,
Yes, that's true.
or
Yep.
I mean, it was like there was a chance you might, if they broke through. I mean, AC/DC, of course, um, that Rose Tattoo. Those were the two biggies that I knew of from Australia.
Yep.
But they were huge.
And
They were,
they really only got heard because they went overseas. That's how they got heard, those bands as well. They only broke through by getting overseas and getting in the American market and things like that. And I mean, we'd love to come to America, but playing America is just out of our reach due to visas now. They're like $5,000 a person. It'd be $20,000, $25,000 just to get the band visas, let alone flights, and organise a tour. So
Absurd.
make things pretty much impossible.
Yeah, it really
Unless you've got
sucks.
some major backing, it's not happening. So
Yeah, unless you, yeah, like you said, unless you can get on with a giant tour like that, it's,
yeah.
yeah, and which really sucks. I mean, I think, yeah, we as metal fans, particularly, I think music fans in general, but I think metal fans particularly, the
Mm,
next few years are going to be rough because we're going to
yep.
see nothing coming from Europe, nothing coming from
Yeah.
Australia. Like, yeah,
Yep.
it's going to just die. Like, it
I
sucks.
agree. I feel for you guys.
Yeah, it's too
It's
bad.
not
It really
good.
sucks.
Yeah.
Because yeah, we're gonna have to travel. Because yeah, I think individual, like passports is that's still fairly inexpensive, but yeah,
Mm,
so I think if we as Americans want to go, if we want to see European bands, we're gonna have to go to Europe.
yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
think we're not going to see them anymore, which is really too bad. And yeah, because I would love, love, love to see Temptress, but yeah, I don't unless I come to Australia. I don't know, which
That's
I would
right.
love to do that as well. So yeah, I need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Just
need to
get
have
ready
a
for the long flight.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's
I've
18 hours or something, isn't it? From America to
it's
Australia?
pretty far. Yeah, we flew. I've been to New Zealand, or yeah, New Zealand. I went there in 16, 17. I can't remember, 18. Um, and it was so we flew from here. So I live in Utah. So we flew from here to San Francisco, which is an hour and a half, and then from San Francisco to Auckland, which I think was 12 hours.
Wow. Okay.
And that was rough. That
Yeah.
was a long, and there were no stops. It was just straight flight.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
And
Yeah.
it was, once you get
Yeah.
around 6 hours, you're like, is this done yet? Like,
I know. I hear you. That's the thing for us to get to Europe. It's pretty much, I think we do 6 hours to Singapore.
mm.
And then from Singapore to Europe is a good probably 12,
Oh,
might even be more. Yeah, it's a good 12 hours, I think. So it's
oh,
a pretty much 24-hour flight
oh,
for us, like
that's
to get
brutal.
punishing. Yeah, it's not my butt and legs aren't happy at the end of that because I'm not short either. So I have
Oh, okay.
to. I did the first time I did it. I did just the normal, cattle seat. And then the second time we went, I went, I'm getting extra leg room because I got these long legs. I need somewhere to stretch out or I feel
Yeah, so
terrible
yeah,
by the
you're
time I
pretty
get to the other
tall.
end.
You're pretty tall.
Yeah.
I'm a little short guy, so it's not as bad for me. Yeah, my wife and I are shorter, so it's not terrible, but it's a try. Yeah, and she gets really anxious on flights, so yeah, she's
Oh,
not
no.
a
Yeah.
fan. So, yeah, that's a little rough. That's a little rough, but at least, you've got a destination with metal. So
That's right.
that's a
That's
good
right.
thing.
It's
That's a good thing.
worthwhile.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I need to have a conversation with her about, yeah, what do you think about going to Australia so we can see Temptress, so, and other
Definitely.
things, and see the country,
Yeah.
see the
Yeah,
opera
you'd love
house,
it here. It's
see,
very beautiful. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, that'd be great. Um, well, I don't want to keep you all day. It's night here. You're a day ahead of me, basically.
Hmm.
But Genevieve, this has been absolutely fantastic chatting with you. Thank you so much. Truly a pleasure, truly an honor to be able to sit and talk with you. For those
Oh,
of you watching, if you look in the description below, I've got links to Temptress's page. If you've never heard them before, go check them out. You will not be sorry. And go pick up this phenomenal, kick-ass new album, their eighth album,
thank
Queen of
you.
Crows. Fucking fantastic. You heard it here first. It's fucking fantastic. I mean, really,
Thank you,
it's
Victor.
just incredible album. And I've only heard it once all the way through. I mean, I've heard some of the songs multiple times, but it's just, yeah, like all of your work, it's one of those you sit down and you listen to Temptress. It's not
Yeah.
background music. You need to sit and listen to the complexity of this album and all of your albums. So thank you again so much. This has been
Thank you.
amazing. I really
Great
appreciate
chatting
it.
with you as well.
Yeah. Cheers.
All right. Have a great night.